Hello and welcome to Going for Two. I'm Ben Gramato alongside Robert Pulatsky. Tonight we have a lot to talk about between NFL and NCAA, including Demaryius Thomas returning to Denver for the first time since being traded. Plus, the Rams put their undefeated season on the line against Drew Brees and the Saints.
Then later, a pair of Big 12 shootouts in college football.
All that is coming up right here on Going for Two.
Hey, let's go, man!
Think he stepped out either. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
The Rams entered Week 8 as the last remaining undefeated team in the NFL against a red-hot Saints team who has won the past 6. Two of the top NFC's quarterbacks squared off in this one, but the Rams found themselves in an early hole, down 18. Goff, looking for a receiver, flips it to Malcolm Brown, who's going to get past 2 Saints defenders, reaching the ball across the pylon for 6. Let's take it to the 4th now. Off the play action, Goff hits Cooper Kupp in the flat, who's going to turn on the Jets, and that's going to tie up the game following the 2-point conversion. 3rd and 7 now. 4 minutes to go. Brees connects with Michael Thomas, who's going to say goodbye to the Rams' undefeated season right here. Taking the flip phone out from under the goalpost right here. He's going to pay homage to Joe Horn, and the Saints end the Rams' undefeated season by a final of 45-35.
The Broncos traded wide receiver Demaryius Thomas to the Texans at the trade deadline. Now Thomas and Houston look to take advantage as we head to Mile High Stadium.
Pick the action up. Case Keenum threads the needle to Jeff Ironman. Does his Rob Gronkowski impression. Keenum is excited. Broncos are going to take the lead. But going to the 4th quarter now, and Kaimi Fairbairn is going to nail this 37-yard field goal, and the Texans take a 2-point lead. Moving to under a minute left in the game, and Keenum, with pressure in his face, gets it to Emmanuel Sanders. That's going to set up a field goal attempt for the win. Brandon McManus will attempt it. And as he goes for the 51-yarder, he misses the field goal. Texans hold on. O'Brien is excited. And Demaryius Thomas wins his first game back in Denver, 1917.
Yeah, definitely a lot of exciting NFL matchups. We're going to now take a look at our scoreboard from other scores from across the league. Starting off with Seattle hosting the Chargers right here, 25-17 with a final. Vikings all over their NFC North rival, Detroit, 24-9. Steelers would get their revenge off of a earlier loss to the Ravens at home, 23-16. Chiefs, just the Browns could not get anything going following the firing of Hugh Jackson. And finally, the Panthers are able to win their NFC South showdown, 42-28 over Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Vikings defense destroyed Matthew Stafford. They put him on his back 10 times, sacked him. Vikings franchise record on that. The Lions, however, stopped Adam Thielen from breaking Calvin Johnson's record, eight straight 100-yard game streak. So that ended at 8. So things looking up. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a lot of close matchups, and I think the game I talked about, Rams versus Saints, I mean, that could be a huge storyline going forward because both teams are going to be fighting for those top couple seeds, and it's the difference with if the game's in the Coliseum in LA or if it's in the Superdome. So right now we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about our top players of the week. Who was your defensive player of the week?
Oh, Ben, definitely Danielle Hunter from the Vikings. As I mentioned, they had 10 sacks. He had 3.5 of those sacks,
including a total of 6.5 tackles for loss. He had one forced fumble, one fumble recovery, which he returned for a touchdown. So, big game. Also led the Vikings with 9 tackles total.
And as I talked about the Saints earlier, I'm going to have to go with Drew Brees as my offensive player of the week. 346 passing yards, 4 touchdowns against a really stout Rams defense. We saw that Michael Thomas touchdown. He pulled out that cell phone, calling Joe Horn, throwback right there. But the Saints are absolutely on fire. 7 straight wins, and following that early season loss to Tampa Bay, they've just been a machine. So that's going to be the end of the first quarter, but when we come back, we're going to take a gander with Vander. You are watching Going for 2 on WTOP 10.
Hi, I'm Anthony Citron, and for one view a day, you can help producers at WTOP get the recognition they deserve for their work. For just 30 minutes a day, you can help these students make sure their work does not go unnoticed. Please, click the link below and help these students get the recognition they deserve. All it takes is one view a day.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
Welcome back to Going for 2. Right now, we're going to take a gander with Vander.
Now, Ben, last Sunday, we saw the battle of the GOATs of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And man, oh man, round 2. Hey, we even got some GOATs for you. Both are wearing number 12. Aaron Rodgers getting all squared away as he travels to Foxborough to take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. We're going to pick things off at the 8-yard line. It's going to be James White. He gets the toss from Tom Brady, and he is going to find Pater. 4-6.
Welcome back to
New England up early, but then Aaron Rodgers with a little RPO as he's going to roll left and find Devontae Adams, who had just a little bit of separation, but he's able to haul it in 4-6. But then Tom Brady out of the eye. He's going to hand it off to Cordero Patterson 4-6. New England takes the lead as they're up 17-10. Then coming right out of halftime, it's Aaron Rodgers. Has all the time in the world. Good job by the offensive line. Good protection. He throws it to Jimmy Graham 4-6. His second touchdown of the season. But then here's where the momentum swings. Aaron Jones takes a handoff in the fourth quarter. He fumbles the ball. Battle for ball right now. And it's recovered by the New England Patriots. But then Brady, little lateral. Oh, Green Bay's defense dealing with 2 quarterbacks. Julian Edelman out of Kent State. He's going to give this one to James White as he's down at the 2-3 plays later. He's able to punch it in. Then Brady, he's going to find Josh Gordon that they just picked up 4 weeks ago, and he is able to find the end zone. New England able to pull away as they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers by a score of 31-17.
Yes, and if you go back a couple weeks ago, Following the Jacksonville game, we thought that New England this may be the year where the dynasty was coming to an end. The division was within a couple games from each team, but 6 straight wins rattled off by the Patriots. And right now, the AFC East picture, it's all New England.
Yeah, it really is. 1-2, I wasn't really surprised by that start, honestly, Ben, but when we know what Tom Brady can do. We know what Bill Belichick is very capable of. We know what Josh McDaniels can do as offensive coordinator, and we really saw that all throughout the past 6 games. They're making a statement right now, and right now, I think they could possibly be the 1 seed. I really do think, Ben.
And if you look at the Packers, I mean, that's another loss for Aaron Rodgers and his team. Right now, I mean, it's between the Bears and Vikings. Do they still have a chance to climb back up for possibly the division or maybe just a wild card?
Oh, absolutely. They can climb up. There's still a lot of time. I mean, they're 3-4-1. Chicago's 5-3-1. Minnesota's 5-3-1. Chicago is 5-3. There's still tons of time. I mean, it's that close. Detroit could even make it 3-4. So a lot could happen in this division. And keep in mind, Ben, we haven't seen a lot of division games yet. Minnesota and Chicago play in Week 11, and that game was flexed to Sunday night. We just found out a few days ago. So you got a matchup there. Green Bay still has to play Minnesota, and they still have to travel to Soldier Field with a meeting with the Bears. So really, don't underestimate Aaron Rodgers because they can really make a turn right away, and they can run the table, as he always said.
But for Aaron Rodgers, that's the 2nd consecutive week that an offensive skill player for his team has had a critical fumble. I mean, that's not going to help him at all. We saw Ty Montgomery, the fumble off of the kickoff against the Rams. They could have possibly won that game. And then New England, they're tied at 17, and then they're driving, and then Aaron Jones coughs the ball up. I mean, it's just they're not helping him out right now.
Well, not right now. And I think when we get a little later on in the season, I feel like Aaron Jones is going to be able to help this team out a lot, with running the ball just straight out of the gut, out of the eye, and be able to have give Aaron Rodgers some play action, as he is very capable of finding Jimmy Graham and Devontae Adams. I have a lot of faith in Aaron Jones. I actually do. If you're the Green Bay Packers, yeah, he fumbled it, and it led to a loss, really. But in all honesty, Aaron Jones is your go-to, I feel like, for the rest of this season.
But one final question. If you look at the current AFC playoff standings, we have Chiefs 1, New England 2. Now, we already had that matchup in Foxborough, but if the season were to end today, it would be in Arrowhead. Are the Patriots capable of going into Arrowhead and beating them in the postseason? Now, we know the Chiefs have struggled in the playoffs before, but, I mean, that's a tall task for Brady.
So if this game is in Arrowhead, I am going to have to say no. I really don't think they can get the job done. This game is in Arrowhead. It is a very tough environment to play, and that defense it's actually that 12th man, and that's going to be all the fans that are going to be helping and supporting this Kansas City defense. Now, if this game was in Foxborough, and we already saw earlier this season that New England was able to beat Kansas City, then yes, absolutely. It would be a very high-scoring game. But like you said, Ben, if it was in Arrowhead, low-scoring game, New England wouldn't be able to get the job done.
But the Chiefs definitely have to finish the season out. I mean, they've started 8-0, 9-1 before, and ended up finishing in the wild card round. So they're going to have to finish off their season strong if they want to finish on top of the AFC standings. Because like you said, it's definitely going to be a factor of who gets home field advantage in the playoffs.
Right.
So right now we're going to go to break, but we'll be right back with some NCAA football action. You're watching Going for Two on WTOP 10.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Hi there. You might wonder what a famous Hollywood celebrity like me is doing reading in the dark. Is this some new sort of Hollywood method acting? No, this is quite real.
Did you know that Americans use about 4 times as much energy per year as the global average? We waste energy left and right, despite the fact that the dirty fossil fuels we use to power our energy sources wreak havoc on the natural world and destroys valuable wildlife habitats.
By reading with my solar-powered night vision goggles, I'm saving energy and looking sleek.
You don't have to sit in the dark like Ed Begley Jr. to save the world. Fight climate change by speaking up for cleaner, smarter energy, including rooftop solar.
Oh, that's way better. Oh.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Welcome back to Going for Two. It's the third quarter, which means it's time to talk some NCAA football. The Big 12 conference race is beginning to tighten up, and we had a couple of pivotal matchups this week. Starting off in Lubbock, the Texas Tech Red Raiders played host to Kyler Murray and the Oklahoma Sooners, who look to keep their college football playoffs alive on Saturday.
Over their 19th.
Mid-first quarter now, Jeff Duffy. He's going to hit to John Henry out of the backfield, who's going to bulldoze his way into the end zone. Texas Tech up big early. Pick it up in the second quarter now. Kyler Murray, as he's done all season, is able to make magic with his feet to make it a 3-point game. Next Red Raider possession, Alan Bowman to DeLeon Ward on the screen pass, who's going to race past the Sooner defense for the 46-yard score. Texas Tech goes up 10. Oklahoma still trailing in the third. Murray's going to roll out and flick it to Lee Morris, who does the rest of the work. Sooners will go on top now. Down 8 in the fourth now. Texas Tech rolling the dice. Jeff Duffy, he's going to hit Zach Austin, who catches it off of his shoelaces to make it a 2-point game. Texas Tech would go for 2, and here they're trying the Philly special, but it's going to be picked off in the end zone. That's Robert Barnes staying on his feet. He's going to race down the sideline, take it in for 2 himself. That all but seals it as Oklahoma takes this one, the shootout, 51-46.
Up next, we've got the Texas Longhorns taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers. Will Greer leading the way there as we get out to Texas for this gun-slinging battle. The Longhorns playing footsie with the Volunteers. We pick up the action here in the fourth quarter of a tight game. Sam Ellinger is going to launch it deep to Devin Duvernay, who makes the play. How do you do? 48-yard TD. Longhorns up 41-34. Excuse me, the Longhorns versus the Mountaineers. Under a minute left. Will Greer dials it up for Gary Jennings, gets the foot down, and stares down the Texas crowd. Mountaineers go for 2. Oh, someone should make a show about that. Greer steps up and breaks to the outside. He converts the 2-point conversion. Mountaineers QB wins or finishes with 346 yards passing for 3 TDs, 2 caught by David Sills. West Virginia wins a classic 42-41. And now we've got some more NCAA scores for you as we take a look at the other scores around NCAA football. So we've got Alabama destroying number 3 LSU. Georgia knocks down Kentucky pretty decisively. Penn State gets clobbered by number 5 Michigan, again 42-7. And then we've also got Notre Dame knocking down Northwestern 31-21, and then the Cal Bears cannot get the upset over Washington State and Gardner Minshew, 19-13 the final there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of close matchups there in college football. college football playoff is starting to shape up. Notre Dame is able to hang on, but, I mean, these next couple weeks are definitely going to be critical. Right now, we're going to take a look at our NCAA offensive and defensive players of the week. So, Rob, you're going to start us off with, I'm going to start off with my offensive player of the week. I have to give some love to Andy Isabella. Let's look at this stat line. 9 receptions, 303 yards with 2 touchdowns. And this was a shootout, absolute thriller, as UMass is able to defeat Liberty. They beat the Flames 62-59 in triple overtime. How about that game and that stat line for you?
That was an incredible game, incredible stat. For my defensive player, I had Quinnen Williams from Alabama. As we take a look at his statistics here, he had 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss, leading the Alabama Crimson Tide front 4 and to a win there against LSU.
And you know what? LSU was ranked 5 at the time, so the fact that Bama is able to just absolutely destroy them, I don't know if there's a team who can beat Alabama. And you look at, I mean, Michigan's looking pretty strong now.
Yeah.
Clemson's looking good, but we're going to talk about them a little bit later. But again, you look at Notre Dame even, I mean, they've been good, but like they struggled against Northwestern. But that is all the time we have for the third quarter. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to take a look ahead to this week's top matchups in the NFL as well as the NCAA. You're watching Going for 2 on WTOP 10.
You know what's going off in fantasy this week?
No worries.
Drew Brees.
Okay, so we're going to start off.
Brees.
Are we doing NFL or NCAA?
You know, you guys just sleeping on Odell Beckham Jr. though. I think he's scoring 3 TDs
so
this week.
I'll preview that.
Well, I mean, we're both going to preview.
I'm going to answer that.
Yes,
and we'll give predictions.
Tell me, the Bears defense is what's going to go up.
Chicago Bears.
All right.
No. This is block 4.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Want to know all the latest things pop culture? Tune in to Let's Talk About It every other Monday at 10 p.m.
Welcome back to Going for 2. It's the fourth quarter, and we're going to take a look at some of this weekend's top football games. So, Rob, we're going to start off with the Rams versus the Seahawks. Really big matchup for this one. The Rams are coming off their first loss of the season against the Saints, as we mentioned earlier. But their first matchup was a tight one. The Rams won by a narrow score of 33-31 in Seattle, mind you, so this game is going to be in L.A. But that game, Goff threw 2 interceptions, but Gurley led the way, 3 TDs. But the story was the L.A. defense. Mark Barron, 9 tackles. He had half a sack. And then Donald and Sue, they each added 1 sack. So, I mean, the Seahawks are going to have to protect Wilson in this one.
Yeah, they will. You know, of course, Russell Wilson, known for his scrambling ability. He's been doing a lot of that this season and in previous years because, as a lot of people know, the Seahawks have had some issues with their offensive line.
And this also isn't the same defense. I mean, it was once the Legion of Boom. I mean, you
yes,
can almost call it the Legion of Gloom, because who are these guys out there they're rolling out in their secondary? I
yeah,
mean,
Richard Sherman left.
They're without Thomas. He's gone. So is Cam Chancellor. So
Yes.
they don't have that same defense. I mean, I looked at a crazy statistic. From that Super Bowl team, they have 2 starters on defense, and I think Thomas
Yes.
was one of them, and he's out for the year. So, but it should be a close one. All 4 of Seattle's losses this year have been within 1 score. So I'm going to give my prediction for that game. I say the Rams, they bounce back. They win it 27-23 the final.
I'm going to say 28 to 21 in favor of the Rams. So I agree with you on that. I think the defense, with like you said, with Aaron Donald, is going to come up huge.
And we're also going to talk about one of the most exciting college football matchups. Now, it's Clemson versus Boston College. Now, Boston College isn't generally known for having a good football program, despite producing some good NFL talent. You know, Matt Ryan went there, Luke Kuechly went there. But right now, they're ranked 17th in the country. I mean, if you look at their losses, they have 2 losses. They're undefeated at home, but it was to Purdue on the road. Ohio State got absolutely crushed at Purdue. So Purdue's not a bad team. And then they also lost at NC State, and NC State was ranked ranked 14th at the time. So I mean, I'm putting Clemson on upset alert this week.
Yeah, well, Clemson is definitely on upset alert. I agree with you there. The Tigers have won 7 straight though against BC, so we'll see how things go there. But the thing that's really exciting to me, and I think for Boston College fans, this game, for the first time since 2009, at Boston College is being hosted by NCAA College Game Day. And A.J. Dillon is going to be a big factor in this game for Boston College. He is the 2nd leading rusher with almost 900 yards rushing, and he's got over 128 yards a game leading the ACC. But then you have to go to Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, that dynamic offense, also led by Travis Etienne at running back, ACC's leading rusher. He's got almost 1,000 yards rushing, so that should be a fun matchup. And the Clemson can clinch their 4th straight ACC Atlantic Division title with a win, so that should be fun.
Yes, and Etienne has been in the Heisman race all season, so he's going to be a huge factor. But that's all the time we have for today, folks. You've been watching Going for 2 on WTOP 10. For Ben, Rob, have a good night.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
It's taste, not toast.
I'm Anthony Citron, and for 1 view a day, you can help producers at WTOP get the recognition they deserve for their work. For just 30 minutes a day, you can help these students make sure their work does not go unnoticed. Please, click the link below and help these students get the recognition they deserve. All it takes is 1 view a day.